Ready? All right. I would like to call the meeting to order for the Nisswa Planning Commission Board of Adjustment for Tuesday, April 4th, 6 p.m. Roll call, please.
Danny Mandel.
Sean Weldon,
Josh Young,
Gary Harris, sorry.
John Taylor,
Dave Reese.
Maggie Wentler, Bethany Soderland.
Yeah, I did.
are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
The agenda is amended as you have been presented.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So move.
I'll second. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Next, to approve the meeting minutes from March 7th, 2023. Are there any corrections or additions to those minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So move.
second,
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Next item is an open forum. Is there anyone present tonight that would like to speak towards anything not on the agenda this evening? All right, moving on to public hearings. I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So move.
second,
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. All right, first item is a conditional use permit 008-23 for the operation of a salon, Salon 77. The subject property is zoned highway business and is located at 4758 County Road 77, PID 281-40504. Owner Cheney Enterprises, applicant Pam Poston, Poston,
Poston,
and Sue Lauer. If you would come to the desk and state your name. Yep. Make sure there's a little green light on there that you have to tap.
It says press there. There we go. My name is Sue Lauer.
Thank you. Bethany, your staff report.
Thank you, Chair Young, Planning Commission. Salon 77, owned by Pam Poston and Sue Lauer, are looking to move their established salon to the city of Nisswa. A conditional use permit is required per our land use table for the operation of a salon in the Highway Business District. Parcel 28140504, owned by Cheney Enterprises, has a vacant commercial space that will consist of a two-chair salon and small retail area. The existing septic system meets sizing for the addition of the two salon chairs, and no exterior building or modifications are being proposed. Parking, lighting, and signage are existing, and any additional signage will be as allowed by city code. A compliance inspection is required to be submitted by June 1st, and any necessary upgrades or improvements will be required within that 10-month window. And as detailed in the Public Works memo that you all received in the packet dated for 3/21/23.
If you'd like to make public comment regarding the project, please step towards the podium and state your name and address. Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Questions? Why don't we do, why don't you just kind of briefly just give us an overview of what the permit, what you're asking for?
Yeah, we're asked to leave our other salon. So, yeah, we found out this was available. And so we'd like just to put, two shampoo bowls and two stations in that. And then there's things we have to do for the cosmetology too, just for our sanitation and rules, and, we'll get that up to code. And, but yeah, we're just kind of waiting for the frost or the ground to freeze to get the septic, inspected.
Yep, the compliance inspection.
Yeah.
They did sign a winter window.
Yeah, winter
So
window,
all of that
yeah.
is submitted.
Okay. Any questions from anybody?
You're using the entire building?
Just the right part of it. There's garages on the left and
Where the laundromat is?
yeah, well,
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Okay, okay.
So they're removing the laundromat and this is going.
No,
in this
it's
place.
just, it was a laundromat a long time ago. And now they were just
snowmobile rental or something.
renting out snowmobiles. And
Okay,
so Jay, the owner, he, on the left is like a couple garages, and then on the right is where we'll have the salon. So it's kind of half of the property, whatever.
okay. I have no questions.
No questions.
No questions. David, no questions. Okay,
None other.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move that the Planning Commission Board of Adjustment approve the conditional use permit 008-23 for the operation of a salon, Salon 77, as previously detailed, and all according to findings of fact by the staff and the city, and appears there may be one condition, is that correct?
Correct. That the use shall be in substantial conformance with the presented plan, and any deviations from that presented plan will require modified approval from the
Thank you
planning.
very
commission.
much.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Oh,
Well,
now-
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Now you're done.
Good luck. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to Nisswa.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. All right, new business, conditional use permit extension request for the operation and construction of a 5-unit lodge and resort located at 24761 Hazelwood Drive, PID 281-40627, owner applicant John Boberg. John, if you want to come to the desk.
Bring lights on, so.
Bethany?
Yes, as the memo in your packet states, John Boberg is seeking an extension to a CUP that was granted in 2015 for the construction and operation of a 5-unit lodge resort on parcel 281-40627, located at 24761 Hazelwood Drive. The Bobergs obtained the CUP and a land use permit from the city of Nisswa and other required state building permits. Due to unforeseen circumstances, the lodge was not constructed. It was determined that the ordinance does not give sufficient information regarding the extension process for a CUP, and that presenting the issue before the planning commission would be the best remedy. As I said before, the applicant is requesting an extension. This means that you may choose to grant it, but further conditions may not be placed tonight. We're not really here to discuss the project, whether we are going to extend their CUP or not. So in keeping with that, that also means that the project itself cannot change, and it is bound by the conditions and the fact of findings as they were approved on, I believe it was May 12th, 2015. So those conditions still hold.
So the motion is only to extend it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And then for how long we would need to define that as well.
Is that defined? So you said we're not going to define it. Do we have to give it a strict year limit, or what are we,
If we extended it, I think it would just extend for the time frame that's already in our ordinance. It would just extend it for another
Okay.
cycle in that regard.
And what is that time frame?
That action needs to be taken place within 6 months, and then construction needs to be done within 2 years.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
so, okay.
And by by action on it, that would be seeking the land use permit. He would need to get another land use permit that has expired. And so we would have to go through that process again. But this is just to, the conditions haven't changed. The property itself hasn't changed. And so he's just seeking an extension so that he can go ahead with the project as it was approved in 2015.
Would have been a lot cheaper to build back in 2000.
I'll say. I'll say.
Now, this was before all of our times, I believe,
Yeah.
so it's
Right, yes, it's a whole new planning and zoning board.
market is right, I assume, for
What,
moving ahead at this point, huh?
yeah,
Well, we're not gonna discuss the project anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to ask him questions as it pertains to the information presented in the packet. There was a staff report included. The conditions, the recorded documents of the CUP are included in there. The conditions, if you haven't looked through them, I can go ahead and read those. Whatever you feel most comfortable about.
I just had one question. And it would just pertain to, it jumped out in one of the notes was sort of, can you give the logic behind your parking space request? Was it like was it 18 spots?
I think, yeah, 17 or something, or yeah, I can't even remember. I think it was just one of those things where. You know, we saw what. We have 5 units, so just trying to. Kind of, well, how many parking spots do we need? I think it was just using up the available space we had for parking, and we
Okay.
just kind of counted out
Okay,
what was there.
got it.
It wasn't like we were. Had that many spaces,
Oh,
just
okay.
like, all right, here's our land. Okay, we got this one, we got about 18 here.
Sure.
And
Okay.
then the concern was at the time was how much impervious we'd have and and so we probably would pave just the front of the lodge or the Hazelwood Road side of it, but then beyond that, I can't see us paving anything, so.
Okay.
That was an issue when that came up. It's like, well, how much impervious do you have and that kind of thing.
Got it.
Condition number 3 does state that the impervious coverage needs to be at 25% or less. And so whatever parking requirements, we would work with him to make sure that those were at the 25% and that he met that ordinance requirement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
You know,
I have none.
I'm not-
Dave,
just trying to catch up here.
nothing? Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the City of Nisswa Planning Commission Board of Adjustment approve the extension for a conditional use permit for the operation construction of a 5-unit lodge located at 24,761 Hazelwood Drive. Owner John Boberg. Again, everything would be according to the original 2015 approvals of the original conditional use.
well, second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Okay, old business, we have none. City planners report.
The city planner report just lists the permits that have been issued within the last month or so. There's been 8. I've listed them out there. I'd also like to talk about possibly amending the ordinance to include a timeline for the extension of CUPs. To see if that's something that we want to add so that we don't run into this situation again. I can draw something up for next planning commission meeting. I would just like to know the details of where you would like me to go with that. If you would like, for example, they have X amount of years to apply for an extension or that they need to apply for the extension prior to the expiration of the permit, I think would be the most.
Well, so one thing I'd like to point out, specifically for resorts, sometimes it's a lot more difficult to get everything in ducks in a row to be able to open this within 6 months and then 2 years. You're dealing with the Department of Health, you're dealing with the county aspect. I mean, it's the whole host of different things. So in commercial business, I think it would be appropriate to extend that a little bit. Just because there's like I said, there's other features in play.
Okay.
But I don't know a specific number. Do you have something in mind?
As far as just when you seek an extension, I think it just you need to seek an extension before the expiration. Right now, you have to act on it within 6 months, which means you have to obtain permits. You have to start the process. I don't think you have to dig a hole in the ground or get to that point, but then you do need to finish construction within 6 months. So I would say as long as they're acting on the permit itself. I think as long as they ask for the extension prior to the expiration, I think, and then they would still need to come to the planning commission and then you could set the timeline at that point, depending on the specifics of the project. If you feel that the project warranted a 3-year extension, or maybe it warranted a 6-month extension or something like that. But as far as just being able to solidify in our ordinance, the time frame for asking for the extension, I think would be a good idea.
I think that sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, one time we had to wait for the Department of Labor and Industry for like 6 months
Yeah.
before we were able to do anything. And then you had an inspection from the plumbing, for the plumbing. So it's just.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it would be nice if, if that was communicated to us, we could simply say, come to the next planning commission meeting, we'll throw you on the agenda.
Yeah.
Discuss your project and discuss your ideas, and we'll give you a more reasonable time frame for you to accomplish the goals. Because I think, especially in today's climate with COVID and shortages and everything else that we've been facing, I've had multiple people call me and say, I don't have windows for, you know, there's no way we can wrap this building up in the time frame. And so I think having the leniency to do that and to change that would be good, but I still think that we should define when the extension can be asked for and when they need to seek a new CUP. So that's up to you.
Are they initially issued as 2 years? No?
Yeah, so basically, like if he would have been granted a CUP this evening, he'd have 6 months to act on that. So
Right.
to come in with his plans,
Yep.
submit the necessary things, get the land use permit. In his case, also what's a state of Minnesota building permit through Department of Labor and Industry, multiple health, other things. And just to get that started within that 6 months. Once that's started, then he would have 2 years on that building permit to construct. So.
So John
it
could
is.
be back 6 months and a day from now asking again.
For an extension, correct? Yep.
You got that? Okay. I just wanted to clear here
If-
because that's the way it was looking to me.
If we make that clarification, yes, but right now our ordinance is very gray and it's very vague. And so when I spoke to the city attorney, he said the best remedy for this would just be bringing it before the planning commission just to see. He said it was critical that the conditions stayed the same. That was the important part, is that the project and the conditions stay the same.
See, I like the idea that we're firming up our ordinances, like in the shoreline subdivision ordinances now, or zoning subdivision. I mean, you can go back and you can look something up and you've got a definite number in most cases.
Yes.
Or a definite idea, but this is kind of a gray area yet. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Is there any other permits that are like in his situation where nothing has been acted on where, I mean, we changed some things in the ordinance where it wouldn't be retroactive necessarily, but is there any, are you aware of anything else like this where nothing has happened yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And so they have obtained a land use permit, so that's acting on the CUP within the 6 months. So they met that time frame, but they still haven't begun construction. And so they would need to do that within the 2 years.
So if we change it, would we send out a letter that says, you know, if you need an extension, you need to ask for it before?
I think if we define that, I think it would be good to put that in the letter that we send out once they're approved. I don't want to encourage people to, wait on these and to come back. But I'd like to give them basically everything that they'll need to keep in mind moving forward. But I don't know how long you want these projects to just kind of hang out there also.
Any idea how many that number are hanging out there now?
I don't know. I know that one, since I've been here, is
Oh,
still
okay.
kind of just
Okay,
not being acted on at the moment. So.
okay.
So, but if you'd prefer to have the flexibility of no time clock and anybody can come in at any time and seek an extension, that's fine too.
Anytime within the 2 years.
Do you like that?
6 months just doesn't seem long enough to me in this day and age.
But you were
You
saying,
know.
you thought if we had them where they made the extension within the 2 years, right? Before the 2 years expired or the 6 months expired? Were you-
Well, we can change all of that if you'd like me to write that up. I mean, if you want me to write up multiple situations, I can do that too, and you can pick from it. I'll have to run it all by Tom, of course.
No, I would want to do the 2 years.
Have it extended?
I mean,
We can just do 2 years and
and then again, it's different if you're building a house versus doing this. I mean, there's way more involved in what John is doing. So it's. I mean, sometimes it's not apples to apples.
Right. And so you want to make sure that the provisions you make
happens.
don't become overly burdensome to those situations. as
So,
well.
so would we change the policy so that it might be something that would apply to commercial where it wouldn't,
Yeah,
to
you can have
residential, for
commercial
instance?
provisions be different
Yeah.
than
just commercial PUDs?
Yeah.
Or conditional use.
additional
permit.
use permits, absolutely. Mhm.
Okay. You're gonna come back with something for us?
Do you like me to? I'd be happy to. Okay. And then other than that, there's an open meeting law training this Thursday in Cross Lake. Some of you will be joining me there. I'm looking forward to that. And then I got an invitation today for an area zoning administrators network meeting scheduled for April 20th in Pequot Lake. So I'm looking forward to that. But that's all I have. If you have any questions about anything else, also our shoreland ordinance, we got a final approval from the DNR. So that's good. It's been published in the paper and it's in effect right now. I will have copies of the new ordinance then, of new chapter 20 for you at the next planning commission meeting, or maybe even before then.
So anybody who walks in the door tomorrow, it's in effect
It's in effect right now.
right now.
Yeah.
Tonight. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So I'm very excited about that. Also, just looking ahead, I contacted the DNR about shoreland and commercial areas in the central business district. They have what's called implementation flexibility, which allows us to do kind of an ordinance amendment like we've done, but identifies areas in the downtown central business area that don't meet shoreland. They're not going to meet 25% impervious. They'll never meet 25% impervious, and development will not be consistent with it. And what that allows is allows the DNR to basically agree with us or not, but they'll, that makes sense. And then we don't need to worry about that so much. And so we'll be able to do further development without each individual property owner always having to go seek a variance. So I guess the best way to summarize it is that we will seek that variance for that group of properties
This is in central business.
in the central business
Okay.
district. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a lengthy project, but it will be really good to have that.
The
figured out.
central business district is,
Central business district is the historic Nisswa.
okay,
Yeah.
downtown.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
downtown. And so a lot of small historic downtown areas in Minnesota are located on lakes, near lakes, within that 1,000 feet. 1,000 feet pretty much goes into the middle of the chamber building. So just to give you a reference, all of Nisswa Square is in that, and that's at about 95% impervious, right? It's supposed to be at 25. So, but that implementation flexibility will allow us to identify those and then to continue to,
It'll streamline development.
Yeah.
Make things quicker, a little bit easier.
yep, and
like it.
we'll have compliance with the DNR and we'll have compliance with ours. And the nicest thing is that we don't have to create a unique zoning for that. We can just use our existing zoning.
What a nice sight walking in here, seeing a full board, full commission. Walking in here just late, albeit it's very nice seeing a full commission.
Oh, to see five here.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
I thank you very much.
Beats 3 going on 2, doesn't it?
You know what? It does.
I have nothing further.
Permits? Did I miss it? Do you have any housing permits this last month or not? They're
I had
kind of fizzled out right
I had
now.
8 permits,
8?
3 were dwellings.
Oh, okay.
An addition, travel trailer, modification to an existing cell tower, and then some commercial signs.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.